Here we are the day after Rosie got home from the Wisconsin Equine Clinic, and she spent the night last night in the round pen. She was to be on limited food, so she had an empty stomach this morning. She was so frisky and running around. It was really great to see her back to herself.
Since Rosie was feeling so much better, I thought it would be good to put her back out with the herd so she could get outside and stretch her legs and just be in her herd environment. But unfortunately, after a few minutes, the other horses started really chasing her off and being pretty mean to her, and I wasn't comfortable with any of that. I didn't want her to get hurt. If you haven't been following Rosie's story, I'll put a link above so you can go back and watch everything that we went through with her. After watching for a few minutes, I decided to pull Rosie out of the herd. I didn't feel like she was safe, and I just didn't want her to get hurt. So I also brought Daisy in, and I left Rosie and Daisy in the indoor arena together. That way Rosie had some company, and they're the same size, so I wasn't worried about Rosie getting hurt. And then they'll be reintroduced to the herd together when I feel the time is right.
It's -20 right now without wind chill. And I'm not happy with how much Rosie and Daisy drank today. They're staying in my arena right now. And so I brought up a handful of grain with electrolytes and warm water. Mix that up real good for them, and they're enjoying that thoroughly. So hopefully this will encourage them to drink a little bit more water tonight. They sound like a couple little piglets. Is that good, Rosie? What is that, Daisy? Look at her little frosty eyelashes. Sassy. The first thing I do right away when I come out in the morning is I bring a nice bucket of warm water and take out the water from the night before. So as you can see, here's how much they drank last night. So they did a little over 1/3 of this bucket, and it is frozen solid. And I'm actually pretty happy with that because they drank really good when I was out last night. So I feel like they're doing okay with their water. And I've been giving them a lot of electrolytes and stuff too, just to make sure that they're drinking good. It's been so cold. It's really been a concern of mine. Hi, do you want to see what's in there? It's just ice. The first thing that Rosie gets in the day is her ulcer guard. So I have that here, and this one is ulcer guard. Gastric guard is the same thing, so I've used both. And she gets, right now she's getting 6 notches on here. So she gets 6 notches, which is good because she's little, where if she were a big horse, she'd be getting this whole tube. And these are, $35 a piece. Hi, Rosie. And she's been so good about this. I haven't even been putting the halter on her. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in her mouth. Make sure that it gets on the side of her cheek. There, that's it. And Daisy really wants some too. It kind of smells like cinnamon, so I think she kind of likes it. I've been really good about giving Rosie this on an empty stomach. So basically, what I would do is limit her hay at night, and then in the morning give this to her on an empty stomach. And then half an hour to an hour later, she gets the Selcrofate. I think that's what it's called. And the Selcrofate is best when she actually has food in her tummy. So I go ahead and take her and give her hay and the Selcrofate, and that's how it goes. So 3 times a day, this in the morning, Selcrofate half hour to an hour later, and then the Selcrofate again in the evening, and then I limit her hay. But again, with it being so cold, I am just not comfortable limiting hay at all. It's been way too cold to do that. So for a few days, she's been getting her ulcer guard with hay in her tummy. So I'm sure that that's just fine. I thought this would be good to show too. I have a Hay Chicks hay net hanging up in the arena for them. And the thing I like about this is they're able to, it keeps them busy. So they're able to sit there and munch on it. And I know that they've always got hay in their hindgut, and that's what keeps a horse warm in the winter. It's not the quantity of the hay, it's the act of actual eating. So making sure that they always have hay in their belly is a really good way of preventing issues. I look like a fire-breathing dragon. It's so cold right now. So the second medication that Rosie's going to get is Sucralfate, and it's these little pink pills, and they're very chalky. So I have a syringe, and she gets 3 of these twice a day. So I'm just putting the pills inside. I put the pills inside the syringe, and then I'm going to take this jug of water, and I'm just going to, I have minis, like, get out of my pockets. They just dissolve really, really fast in here. And then I just go ahead and give them a good shake. And it just turns right into a nice little liquid. So this is super easy to give her. And again, I feel kind of bad though, because every time I come out here 3 times a day, I'm out here and I'm stuffing things in her mouth, and I feel kind of bad about that. So after I give her this one, I typically do give her a little treat, just so she's not thinking that I'm always shoving something in her mouth. I don't want her to be worried. You know, the first few days, she was kind of like, not again, and she would just turn and walk away from me, and I don't want her to become difficult to catch or anything like that. So it is a situation where I think giving her a treat is kind of a nice thing to do. Again, I don't even use a halter for this. She's really good about it. Here. I have pink stuff, I think, on every article of clothing that I own now. So the next thing is she's going to get a little piece of an apple, just for being a good girl. And Daisy, you get one too, just because you're here. And I would feel bad giving it to one and not the other. Now, fast forward to evening. I am doing my final check of the day on the minis, and I'm so excited because they actually emptied their bucket, and they haven't been doing this lately at all. So I'm really happy about that. These little guys, horses should drink about 1 gallon of water per 100 pounds that they are. So these guys are about 300 pounds each, so they should be going through about 6 gallons a day. So I'm pretty happy because this was a really good amount for them to drink since they had it filled last. So I brought them out a fresh bucket of water, warm water, and now Rosie's gonna get her very final dose of Sucralfate. Actually, it's funny because I know I've been saying it for weeks now, and I suddenly forgot what it's called. Okay, Rosie knows it's coming. So here we go for the final dose. We have kittens playing in the hay bag behind me. So it's a very final dose of this. I'm so excited. So with the pink stuff here, this has been twice a day for 2 weeks. So now tomorrow, all she'll be getting now is the Ulcer Guard, which she's going to be getting a half a dose of that every day for another 2 weeks, and then she'll be done with her treatment. So I'm very excited for that to be done. And now, since it's so good, she can have a little carrot. Daisy gets one just because she's here. Even though Rosie's supposed to be getting her Ulcer Guard on an empty stomach, I'm gonna go ahead and let her have hay again tonight, just because I want to make sure that they aren't cold. The temperature is supposed to warm up drastically starting tomorrow, and I'm also going to be putting her back out with the herd tomorrow. I did have some issues when I put her out the last time because a couple of the mares really were pretty mean to her. So I'll put her and Daisy back out in the herd tomorrow after I give her her Ulcer Guard. I'll keep you posted tomorrow. I'll get some video footage of her getting put back out with the herd so you can see how they all interact. She's been away from the herd. She was with the herd one time since this whole episode has happened. So in 2 weeks, she's only been with her herd one time. So, but I just put Rosie and Daisy back out into the herd, and the whole gang is running after Rosie. Rosie's got her little tail folded up over her back. Oh, they are having a good time. Go off and go. Rosie is so happy to be back with her herd. Everybody's getting along so well. So pleased. I really think that when they were driving her out the last time, they just knew that she was sick. You know, herd animals, when one is not right, they don't want it to be involved because that's going to draw in predators. I really feel like that's why they were pushing her out of the herd, is because they knew she wasn't feeling well. They knew there was something wrong. Let it go now. Daisy. I have not seen her this happy in weeks. So this is really awesome. The other horses are being nice to her, and she's her same old sassy self. She's not really putting up with anything, where before, when they would go after her, she'd just leave and go back in the pasture by herself. So I'm so excited to see her doing so good. Okay, today I'm going to show you Rosie's new routine. So we are into the second half of her treatment of ulcers, and now she's only getting 3 notches of the ulcer guard, and I'm going to go out and catch her. As you can see, we have a tremendous amount of ice today. We had some freezing rain, and now it's snowing, and it's beautiful actually. I feel like I live in a snow globe. But anyway, so I'm going to go out and get Rosie and bring her in for a couple hours while I take care of feeding and everything. She's going to just kind of hang out in a stall without any food, because the ulcer guard works best if they have an empty stomach. So I'm going to just take her off food for a little while and give her her ulcer guard, and then she'll go back out with the herd. Rosie and Petra are thoroughly enjoying this branch that fell into the pasture. Rosie sees me coming. She's like, I'm out of here. She's like, I don't ever want to have to stay in the stall again. Please don't take me away. Okay, now that Rosie's been away from her food for a couple of hours, I'm just going to give her her dose of ulcer guard. So that's just going to go in, and there we go. It's as easy as that, and she really doesn't mind it at all. So now she's just getting her, she's getting a half dose for her size for 2 weeks. So we are almost done with that, and then hopefully she'll be all free and clear of ulcers and feeling much better. She's such a good girl.